Welcome to the Toffee TV podcast, episode 25. It is just myself, Ped, and Baz in today. We've been deserted on the guest front. So if anyone would like to come in and be a guest on the podcast, let us know. You can come in and be a guest on it. No problem at all.
Get involved.
Come and join us. We will be looking ahead to Everton's game against Manchester United on Sunday. We'll also, in the middle part of the show, be discussing what to do for the right back position, amongst other things. But obviously we start with Sunday and a game that made you very, very angry. Very, very. I've never seen you so angry.
Really?
No, I don't think I have. I don't think I've seen you as angry as you were on Sunday and Monday after the defeat at Arsenal.
Frustration more than angry. It's just it was just the way it played out. It was a game that against a team that average with they got a world class centre forward, but they're an average side, and we had enough chances to end that stupid run at that place, beat a team that is around us and competing for a European place with us, and keep the momentum going. If we'd have lost the game 3-2 and they were the better side, you'd hold your hand up and go, okay, we weren't good enough today. But that wasn't really the case. The case was we give cheap goals away and missed great opportunities. And when you're on a run, it's 24 years to end something. And I know, listen, the reality, and we discussed this on something else, it doesn't really matter because you take things season by season. It's the context of the season, but it just takes that talking point away, doesn't it? You know, you haven't won here now for 24 years or 25 years or, and all that. So it was an opportunity missed. That was what annoyed me.
Yeah, but it is ridiculous. It's still ridiculous. It doesn't matter how good we've been, or how bad we've been, or whatever. It's ridiculous that Arsenal, Chelsea, Anfield, Old Trafford for a very long time, and it's still only one win since 1992. Yeah. That we've got these runs, added into the fact that we've not won anything. It almost goes against logic or probability, or you know what I mean. It completely goes against it. There's always going to be that, and we've said this loads of times. When you see like results and you see like, oh, so and so's gone there and won a game or whatever, you know what I mean. You think there's got to be some kind of probability that we can go to these places and get one win somewhere, and we haven't. It's ridiculous. And I know a lot of people have got angry about what Gary Neville said on the commentary about Everton, just in general, about not going to win the game and not having enough to win the game in terms of maybe the mental side of the game. But of course, it's a big thing because, I know, listen, like you just said, records don't really mean anything as such, but when they are hanging over your head, at some point, an Everton team has got to stand up and go to one of these places and just be prepared. I mean, I'm sure we have, and I'm sure that's contributed to games not winning at these places. But at some point, Everton have just got to roll up their sleeves and just say, not today. Do you know what I mean? Like it'll be 25 years the next time we play them. It can't go on. And if you're going to do anything, I think it's a massive measuring stick of what you are as a football club or a football team. If you can't muster together 11 players who have no fear, added that to a little bit of skill, then that's the major problem. I think that's what Neville was driving at. It's like Everton are always like, we always get so far, and maybe we've all in that time been all right with that to a point. But going forward, this can't continue. If you want to be a good club, if you want to be a big club, if you want to play in Europe, I've watched Chelsea last night playing against Bayern Munich, and that showed you where they are at the moment, right? Getting battered by Bayern Munich 3-0 at home. But if they're in the Champions League next year, that experience will do them well because they're a young set of players. But at least they're getting that experience of being in there. We've said this before. We've looked back at like European games, like when we went to the Ukraine and things like that, and how we'd done really well, and then we played that one game when we went to Fiorentina, exactly the same. not being in Europe and not experiencing that, and then taking it into those experiences into the next year with the same set of players, with the same manager. And it always seems like that's always our biggest downfall, is not getting those experience, learning from them and going into it the next year. And I don't know whether that's because of turnover of players or turnover of managers or whatever, but this is something that for me now you've got to take from that game. So sort of in the same way that you take it from the Newcastle game, where you go, you don't let that happen again. I know it was a freak result, but you don't put yourself in a situation where in the last minute you're 2-0 up and you're still not doing the basics to just put the ball at the other end of the pitch or whatever. So for me, I'm hoping that this is a game that we everyone learns from and goes, you know what, we're not letting that happen again, and we're going to take that into the next one.
Well, you'd hope so. But I mean, I'm like you started, that answer off, or that section off them with, you see teams going and get these results. Southampton went to Chelsea and won 2-0, when they were dreadful. Norwich come to Goodison, bottom of the league, and we were good at home and beat us 2-0. It's like, how do these teams have those days where everything goes in, and yet Everton don't seem to be able to do it? And I don't understand why. I don't understand whether the clubs were playing look at us as a big club, so they're wary, so they still perform. Because we don't seem to catch anybody off the guard.
No.
And that's mad. It cannot, like, doing it regularly, because you're not a good team, so you won't beat them teams, but not to do it in those places for so many years, it's just berserk. Things don't run for you. But Sunday was that opportunity.
Well, it was funny though. I mean, we were both at Leeds when we broke that.
Yeah, 51 years.
And the thing about that day was that obviously it was the Rooney effect coming off the bench. It was the week after he'd scored the winner against Arsenal's first Premier League goal, and we had the team, and it was just that little X factor of him coming off the bench and terrifying them, and them not knowing really who he was. And I just wonder whether it's that little thing of, on that day I remember there was an expectation, because you felt like we had Rooney. It was like a new era. We were going to do new things, and that fed into that day. We kept it tight for 80 minutes, then we brought him on. It was like that. This is going to be the thing that finally finishes it off. And it was, and I just think, I don't know whether, as fans, we have to have that little bit of almost like, today is our day, and then that maybe, I don't know whether that goes on to the players, if the players get that. But I think there's too many times in these games, and I think we showed that on Sunday, where we start the game off brilliantly, we get a goal, and then we just relax. And we've done this previously, we relax, and then within a split second, not only is the game 1-1, but we're 2-1 behind.
Yeah.
And the Arsenal have done nothing to get it. They've not put us under severe pressure for a period or anything.
No.
We've took our foot off the gas, and I think that is a thing that clubs when they want to win things or want to get into Europe, they don't let happen. They don't allow the opposition to come back into the game, or if they do, they make sure that it's been them playing at the best. Where too many times we allow teams to just amble back into games and then get ahead, and then you're looking for something then, and we did that all through the game, and then when it gets to 3-2, then we get our pressure and we can't force our pressure, but we shouldn't have ever been in that situation.
No, I mean, we give 2 cheap goals. I mean, brilliant cross by Saka for the first goal, and it was a good ball by David Luiz for the second, but we should have cut, should have been trying to gamble and cut it out. But we're 2-1 down, and I suppose the positive side is we didn't crumble, we didn't lay down. We went back and got it back to 2-2, but then the second half you're out again, and it's another cheap goal. And the manager said after the game, you can't give 3 goals away and expect to win games. You just can't. So if you're, unless you defend properly and make it difficult for teams, how are you going to win these games? Scoring 2 goals away from home should get you at least a point. At the least a point. Liverpool seems like Liverpool, who are at the top of the table, and even Leicester, early in the early part of the season, if they went away and scored 2, they'd win the game or get a draw because they defend properly, and we don't do that. Perfect start from Calvert-Lewin. Iwobi could make it 2-0 and hit it wide, but we should have just been able to keep them at arm's length, because they weren't putting it. If you're under the cosh, okay, the ball ends up in your net sometimes because it's wave after wave and you can't keep that out sometimes. But it wasn't that, like you said, it was nothing. It was a ball down the side across 1-1, and you were like, they've done nothing to get back in the game. And then it's even worse 4 minutes later, it's 2-1, and they still haven't done nothing.
Yeah.
And all they've done was pass it in front of us, which Arsenal, the best Arsenal team did, and then they were decisive. They cut through you. They didn't do it at any time in the game, and that was what annoyed me. If it had been an Arsenal team of old, and you get beat 3-2, you go, well, you know what? We've had double the shots they had. The possession was pretty similar. The passing was similar. We've had a good goal there. Next year, but it was just like, these aren't very good, and we still haven't been able to take advantage of it. And that was where my frustration lay. And given the chance, Dom, for me, on another day, scores 2 of those 3 chances he had near the end, and that was frustrating as well, because he's done brilliantly this season and he's flying, he's doing really well. Take them chances, got to take them chances. You see, the top strikers take them when they come along. And you go, well, yeah, they won, and he got 2 because he got, how many times have Liverpool? They won for the 13th time this season by a single goal the other night against West Ham, and you knew at 2-1 who'd score their goals, and that's it. They get the the keepers out.
About being clinical, isn't it?
Yeah, but listen, it is what it is, and the good thing about what we do is you come in and talk it to death, and then you get over it, and I'm over it now, and I'm looking forward to Sunday.
I suppose, that is the frustration that they haven't done enough for me, Arsenal, to win that game.
Keeper's not had the save to make, has he? Had the catch, didn't he? That was it.
Money nearly gifted them, but
yeah.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Again, that comes down to mentality for me. That comes to that is though. That's like one of 2 things. That's at 1-0. You either press forward and try and get your second, or you make sure that your shape is good enough that they aren't getting through, and you're going to hit them on the break. And we didn't in that period. We just don't know whether we were lulled into a false sense of security, but we didn't do either those things, and that's what makes it annoying as well. Is that players, for me, that's players switching off. That's senior players switching off. That's players not doing the job, not going out and pressing Grant Xhaka, not going out and pressing David Luiz. I did see something about some stat about how. There's a stat for everything, but it's a particular stat of when teams press, how far they allow the opposition up the pitch before they engage them. And I know that it's improved massively under Ancelotti, but I would have liked to have seen it obviously for the first and second goal. I think that was a major thing of how we didn't get out to people. The point being is that
mobility, do you think?
I think it is. I think it's having someone in midfield. What it is for me, it's having someone in midfield who goes and presses, and then someone else goes with them, and then you're stopping them from playing, aren't you? Whereas we don't have that. We see this, and we've said this a lot. Our midfielders are pretty much the kind of midfielders that back off because they know that they can't keep up with other midfielders. So if they go and engage and they get through the press, then they're going to be running at the back four. It's what we seen like when we got beat at Leicester away, that kind of thing where we did try and engage. They got past the press and then they're running at the back four, and the back four are backing off. And I think in both of those cases for those 2 goals, for me, if someone goes and presses Xhaka, he doesn't get a pass down the line, and the one is the second goal. If someone goes right into David Luiz there, he's not going to put that pass in, is he? He's just not going to happen. And I think that's something that when you've got a midfield like we had with Ghana, he'll see that and he'll go, because he's thinking to himself, well, you're not getting away from me. You're not gonna run past me, and I'm gonna force you without fouling you to go the other way, and then I've done my job. And it's like one of those things that when people do it, you don't necessarily notice it as being, but when goals like that happen, you do notice it. We've seen it last season. I'm very critical early on last season. I think it was when Brighton scored against us, when they took a short corner, and Theo Walcott went, but sort of stopped. And again, it's that thing of stopping the cross as well. Stop the cross by fully engaging the player. Get out to him and make sure that he can't go anywhere. And then what does he do? He'd have to pass backwards, and then you've got a chance to turn them then. And I just thought on Sunday we were guilty of that, and it shows that we do need a mobile centre midfielder to get in there, because the balance of that midfield was very, very poor.
Yeah,
really.
the midfield was shocking really on Sunday. I mean, I like Alex Iwobi, and always split the opinion, but I don't think he played well at all on Sunday. I don't think he offered us anything really. Not saying he didn't try, but he just didn't. He wasn't in the game. He had 2 attempts at goal, fair enough, but he didn't hit the target with either. And then he offered nothing, and it was right that we took him off. But he's always better either centrally or off the left.
But he's a ball carrier.
Yeah.
That's one of the things when we were signing him in the summer, and Andy the Piv was talking about him, and he was talking about how much he carries the ball. Everton were obviously in the market for someone who carries the ball to get you up the pitch, and he had really good numbers last season. But what I found with recently is, certainly since he come back from injury, because don't forget that was only his second start. That and Watford is. He's been, when he gets on the ball, certainly against Watford, he got the ball and kept the ball and just moved it on, and he never really took it on anywhere.
Yeah.
And on Sunday, he got it in areas where actually he was like the final ball out to the right. So he never really got a chance to carry it. So it wasn't really
But that's
playing
why,
to his strengths.
That's why I'd have had him on the other side.
Yeah.
Because I think he is like Bernard, where is that when they come in field and the pitch opens up either side, they can play those passes because the body shape shows you can. When you're coming in off the right, think about your body shape.
No, I know, but
the
the tactics Sunday were for the two wide players to not be wide, to tuck in and force Arsenal on the outside. I mean, they scored from 2 crosses.
He still
that way.
could have done that if he'd have had Sigurdsson on the right and Iwobi on the left. Sigurdsson will do.
No, but he clearly wasn't looking for that though.
No, but what I'm saying to you is, they still could have been narrow. Yeah, but you're going to get more in field on the left-hand side from Iwobi than what you are from Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson will mirror what he does on the left, on the right. So he'll do it, which is very little, let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, listen, we've praised Ancelotti. He is a world-class manager. Him and Ferguson and David Ancelotti done really well since they come in. And let's remember, it was only our second defeat under him. And City and Arsenal away, you might go, well, all right, 2 tough games. Arsenal, it wasn't, but that's how you can dress it up. And it's a learning curve. And for me, he got the balance wrong at the weekend, just because those players, we've seen it so many times. But I remember you saying on the live, I think it was the other day, what are his options though? He's looking around that team. He hasn't really got many options, and if our defenders defend properly, we might have won the game, and we might go, you know what?
That's what he said.
He's made a great decision there because he's done this and this and this. So.
Well, the big decision he had before the game was obviously whether he started on Gomes or not. He decided not to. Probably didn't feel he was quite ready, and obviously maybe
Gomes didn't feel quite up to it.
Yeah, and he probably thought that actually though bringing him on against a tiring Arsenal team that had played in Europe and obviously played the following week before was probably the best thing for him. And he came on, and I thought, straight away cemented his place back in Everton starting 11. Was very confident on the ball, protected the ball really well, used it really well, played some great balls into our forwards. Got it, he just when he come on, he dictated the game really. Once he got settled into it, and that for me now leaves one option in centre midfield, because he'll go to the rest of for pretty much the end of the season now, as long as he's he doesn't have any niggles or anything due to coming back. And hopefully that is that little extra thing that we have been missing, that little bit of not only creativity, but I look at him and I think he's a player that other players are confident giving the ball to, and he could go back to the centre backs, take it off and turn and get us up the pitch. Because we do like playing out from the back. I know sometimes it's very, very nervy, but that's because we've seen one in the game where Sigurdsson gets it, and I know he was crowded out. It was a bad ball.
That was a terrible
Pickford ball. But I think Gomes is the kind of player who believes in his own ability to not only get away from players, but he's a big lad. If they hit him, he'll probably be a foul. So I just think that'll add another dimension to our game going forward.
Yeah, he come on, he was head and shoulders above everyone, and I include the Arsenal's midfield on that. He dictated the play, ran the game when he come on. I thought obviously Ancelotti had made a couple of little changes at half time because Saka wasn't in the game the second half. We cut off their whole supply just by making a couple of little changes, and then he put Bernard on the right, and I thought Bernard done very well, created 2 big opportunities for us which we didn't take. And Gomes was different class, taking the ball, passing it right and left, keep it ticking over. Like you said, strong, receives it, can go by players, attempted 3 dribbles, I think completed 1, which is good for you coming back into the Premier League. I mean, let's be honest, it was, less than 4 months since that horrific injury, and he's playing again. So it was great to see him back, and like you say, with barring any kind of minor setback, whatever, he should be in every week now. And the beauty is we play once a week now till the end of the season. So and we've got a break again in a couple of weeks, haven't we, because of the international. So we can really make sure he recuperates well after games and keep building him up. And hopefully the other thing we'll see, fingers crossed, is Gabaman back sort of mid-April for the last 3 or 4 games. And if we can get him back in the squad and maybe doing something like we saw Gomes last half an hour in games, it'll give him the chance to get accustomed to the Premier League ahead of the pre-season for him. And then hopefully next season we'll have a player that, like a new signing almost.
Well, hopefully it should be, really, it should be about 4 weeks. I think it was 8 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 8 weeks.
The op, but I mean, I'm not really.
No, I'm just thinking.
No, it'd be nice to get him in there last few games, just to get him up to speed with the Premier League, and before and then you're thinking about next season, then, which is what we're all thinking about anyway, really. So,
I just think if he could get himself in a position where he can play, and work with Ancelotti every day, it'll give Ancelotti a better idea if this kid up to it, can he do it? And then it'll give him the opportunity to bed himself in, feel part of the team then again. And then it gives him go away on holiday, get back, and then work hard and get yourself perfect, ready for.
I do think it's I do think what Ancelotti said, and obviously what he's done by putting him in the side straight away, shows that he understands there's a gulf between him and the other midfielders. Straight, know what I mean? No, it's not like
it's great.
He's looked at him in training and gone, "You're clearly better than," and I know how I want to use you.
If those other players were good, Gomes wouldn't be anywhere near at the moment.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Let's be honest.
And it's going to be really interesting. Maybe something we'll talk about in the final part of the show, if who's going to be the player who complements him playing in there. But we'll leave that for now. So a disappointing defeat. Obviously with Charlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin getting another couple of goals, and they're our big threat.
Charlison was brilliant.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
When you watch him, he's just even when he's not in the game, he's a threat, and that's when you know you've got a top player, because
scares players.
He frightens them. He works hard. Stupid tackling got himself booked. But other than that, and then what was good about that was he never really got involved again.
No,
which was a bit mad, because it was mad anyway. But I think he'd seen the challenge going on Calvert-Lewin as well, hadn't he, and thought, I want a little bit of this. And they're very together. That's the good thing, what I've noticed now. They're starting to be. Have you seen the thing yet? Have you seen the celebration again yet? When Calvert-Lewin's doing the mower?
Oh, yeah, probably, I don't know.
I
haven't even watched it.
Just watch it, just for the Charlison.
But Charlison put a video on his own Instagram today showing him doing that.
The challenge, I know, with like a thingy. Absolutely. No, but watch the celebration, because it's he does some.
No, that's a massively important thing. The players all look together, and it is. What I would say is, though, when you look at the side, it is the younger players. It is the players under 25 that are the players who are driving it forward, and it's the older players who are letting us down. And that's actually really good.
That's brilliant.
Because you look at those players and you just like, well, fine, get rid of them. Get rid of your Snydens, your Sigurdssons, whoever else. Maybe keep a couple around for that squad mentality.
Like the Coleman and
like
stuff.
the Delph, and but it's easy to see that there's a young core growing together, and that's really good. That's really heartening to see that they do have these. And we've always said in the past, it was always there didn't seem to be much of a team spirit.
No.
But that seems to be, has been growing since Duncan took over.
I think,
and that's really important.
Something we've said is about Holgate and Calvert-Lewin, is that they've cemented themselves in this team, and they're together. And I don't know if it was Dom or if it was Holgate. Sweet, I think it might have been Dom, and he put his hand up and said, I'm sorry, but at the end of it, he went, I love this team, and I love the fight we've got, and we'll carry on ready. And when you get that, and you see players saying, I love this team, it means that you just said, those young lads are all in it together.
You believe in it together.
When you get a core, what they had. when you get a core, and you know, having watched that Class of 92 documentary again, the updated version, when you get a core of young players who all believe in the same thing and then believe in a manager, that's very powerful.
Yeah, and I think
powerful.
that what's important about that is when you look at the team, you see us go 2-1 down, and then we're not out of it. Watford, 2-0 down, we're not out of it. People clearly believe now that even going a goal down or whatever, going 2 goals down, it's not over. There's enough. They believe in each other.
Yeah.
Enough
there.
that we can score.
Well, if you pick for 25, you've got Dean 26, Mina 24, Holgate 23. Then in midfield, Iwobi 23. You've got Bernard's 26, fair enough. Then you've
Buddy Lux
7, 18. You've got Calvert-Lewin, who's 22. Richarlison 22. You've got Moise Keane on the bench, who's 19.
Tom
Andy
Davis.
Gordon's around at 19. Tom Davis 21. So, Andre Gomes 26, great age. So if you look at the core of that team, even Sideby, whether we keep them 27, but you keep the core of that, and then you can get rid of your Sigurdssons, your Schneidlins, Walcott, and I'm very bothered. He does a job. No, I've got no problem. I play him on Sunday.
What I like about Walcott is I think his professionalism is so important. I'm not saying he's the best player on the pitch, but I do think he's got a level of professionalism in a squad that can rub off on people. He's a good example. Yeah. I don't know about other players. I'm not going to call anyone out and say because I don't. But I always feel like Walcott, that he comes across so professional. And when he's been out of the team, you never felt like there was an attitude. And he's worked hard to get back into the team, and then he has these moments. And I hope he's back.
Well, listen, we're going to talk about that next, adding to it, and there's part 2, aren't we? But the core is certainly there, and that's where you start with anything.
That's where I think now people have got to
buy into it
as fans, and not, it's not get too. It's hard, but it's hard when you're not winning games. But let's not fall into the trap of starting to criticising our players and our manager all the time. Because we get beat.
No, listen, like you said, I'm normally quite philosophical about it, but it did stick. I've got to admit, it did stick in my throat on Sunday and Monday, but back to normal today and ready for Sunday. But no, we're going in the right direction, and we've got a manager who knows what that direction is, so that's good.
Good stuff. Coming up in part 2, we'll have a little chat about Sideby and a couple of other positions. And also, I've just remembered, Mashiri's 4 years in charge of Everton.
Yes.
Here you go. Coming up in part 2, we'll be right back. Welcome back to part 2, Toffee TV podcast. Ped and Baz in the chairs. No one else here. To be honest, it's what the people want.
Yeah.
None of this XG nonsense.
Pip's just pivoting himself off, and he's
busy man.
Steve was coming in, but he had his little lad had a fall in school. No, he's fine, but the school won't keep if your kid bangs the head.
Oh
he
no,
won't keep it. So he went and got him checked out, and he's fine. So get well soon, Steve's lad. But he's all right.
I mean, you care that much of him, you don't know what his name is.
Steve's never told me, and I'm not going to say, "Oh, what's your kid's name?" Am I? Really? Do you know what his kid's name is?
No, but I'm not interested. You know me. I don't even know he had a kid.
You don't care about
anything.
Me.
I couldn't care less. I don't even know. Andy got any kids?
I don't know.
I couldn't care less. I'm not interested.
Okay.
I actually only like Zach because he's slightly sound.
And it's easy to remember, that's all.
I mean, your other kids are gone.
Yeah,
they're gone. They're gone. The other ones, but Zach, there's some hope for Zach.
All right.
We digress. Listen, lots of talk about positions. About this is that stage now where footy positions.
Yeah.
That stage
clarification important.
Well, clarification is important.
It is.
In
anything. Everything.
So there's a lot of talk this time of year. We're going into March now. We're getting into that bit now where we're certainly with someone like Sideby. Do we keep him? We had this last season, Kurt Zouma and Andre Gomes.
Yeah.
And I think we were, we got to this stage of the season. Well, we got to this stage of the season where actually everything turned. I think this is the anniversary. I think it was a year ago we played Cardiff, where everything started turning, and obviously performances started picking up. Zouma and Gomes.
Brilliant.
And it's funny because it is that lasting memories of of how a player finishes the season. Zuma finished the season brilliantly. Whereas up to, I think, this point last season, we were still very, like, cagey about Zuma.
I was like...
But at the end of the season, we were like, we've got to get him. Because actually, in the game before, Zuma had been sent off, hadn't he?
At Watford,
at the altercation at the end of the game. So we were sort of... I'd probably had the same feelings we have about Sidibe right now. Unsure about where we stand with him. We clearly need to sort the right back position out. I don't think John Joe Kenny is anywhere near ready. Anyone who watched the Leipzig game against Schalke at the weekend, they got beat 5-0. Yeah. They were at home. And Kenny got caught out for a couple of goals. Against when he played Bayern Munich a few weeks ago, again, Muller left them. And I'm not, listen, these are top players and top clubs, but you got to learn your lessons, you know. And he's been playing well this season.
He has, yeah.
But
a good season.
I personally would leave him in Germany for another year. I'd let him go. I'd let him go on loan for another year. Okay. Clearly enjoying it. They're enjoying having him. I wouldn't, you know. I'm sure they'd be happy to take him for another year on loan. And that's the way I'd look at it. But I would. That leaves the conundrum then of what to do with what we've got. Seamus Coleman, listen, I still think he's a squad player. I think he can come in and do a job like he did against Crystal Palace, but he's not our starting right back. He can't be our starting right back. No. But then the question is Sidibe the starting right back? And you watch a game like Sunday against Arsenal, and you look at it and you think, I've seen you get caught out like that in a few games this season. Intelligent players have pulled onto him and then left him for dead. It happened against Liverpool when we got beaten. He got took off after 25 minutes. And yes, the price is very tempting. 12 million, 12, 13 million. But it's still 12, 13 million that could be spent on somebody else. Wages. Yeah, which could be spent on someone else. So what are your thoughts at the moment?
Yeah, it's a tough one with him because I like him as an attacking fullback because he's got 5 assists, harp on, but I've been saying he's got 5 assists since Christmas and he hasn't had another one yet. So his last one was the cross to Calvert-Lewin, wasn't it? But he's got 5 or 6 assists, I think it is, this season, which is good for a fullback, very good. And I think ironically, well, not ironically, against probably 2/3 of the Premier League, he's probably all right.
Yeah.
Because the onus is more on us attacking. Yeah. But like you've just said, when you play against top players, and you quoted the Liverpool game, well, Mane pulled onto. Mane, for me, is one of the top 3 players in the world.
Played the year for me.
Yeah.
Played the year.
He's absolutely incredible. He's all. I mean, I think Mohamed Salah scored 14 league goals this season, and Dom's got 13. So considering how good Salah was, but yet Mane's by far and above their talisman now. He's the man who, when Liverpool get a late winner or a goal, we got the winner Saturday at Norwich, last week at Norwich, he got the winner this week. So players like that just play on Sidibe and cause them problems. Aubameyang, absolutely fantastic, played on them and caused them issues. So I think against top players, his defensive frailties are blown wide open. Whereas when Coleman played against Crystal Palace, Zaha done nothing really. Yeah. He set the goal up, which but
he come off the left at that.
He was central, and let's have it right. Pickford should have saved it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like Zaha went round 6 and rolled it across and it was knocked in or whatever. So Seamus Coleman played him really well, but like you've just said, and I love Seamus as a person, I love him as an Evertonian. He's been incredible value still for me. Just for the price, probably the best bargain ever, and probably will ever play in the Premier League at £60,000 to what he's done. So it is a big conundrum because Sidibe, for everything he gives you going forward, how are you going to cope in big games? Do you then just start going, well, you know what? He's great against 8th downwards. Yeah. So he plays against them, and the top 8, top 7, Seamus Coleman plays because he's not going to commit. I don't know.
No, I think what's interesting about Sidibe is
you've gone full Carragher.
The thing about Sidibe is that I started out as a right back myself, and then I went to centre back. Maybe that's the progression for Sidibe to become a top class centre back like I was.
No.
What's interesting about him though? He's got this. It's not that he's a bad defender, but he's got a way of defending that is very much like
it's risky.
Is a risk. It's like he tries to. We've said this. He tries to nick the ball high up so we can play high up. Now we've seen him almost try and do that when the second goal. He's edging his bets, and I just wonder whether they see enough of him in him that they can get hold of him and say no. In a situation like that,
go goal side.
Go goal side, and if you see a player running with the ball and he's got 10 yards to run into and no one's going to get near him, I want you to drop off, because the chance is if you try and go forward and you don't get it, he's in. So, and I think that's where you can see he's not a defender. It's because if you're a defender, you would completely listen, at anyone at any age will have been told get goal side, because if the goal side they've still got to beat you. If you drop off 5 yards there and Aubameyang picks the ball, all you've got to do is either take the ball off him or foul him, and he ain't getting past you. So I think he's just not a defender. But the point being is, how many fullbacks
wing back.
He is a wing back, that's what he is. But how many fullbacks are defenders these days? And that is the question. And we've said so. That's one thing.
The trade-off, isn't it?
It is. But to have that though, you need a centre midfielder, like we said previously, who's mobile enough, or a centre back. Because I don't think Mina does him any favours, even though he's caused a problem. But I don't think Mina does him any favours, because if you understand your players, Mina's anticipating him going forward then, and Mina's coming across. Because where else is Mina going to go
Why do we keep switching Mina and Holgate?
I've no idea. I've said this.
Because Mina was the left centre-back at Watford, wasn't he? Yeah. And then, obviously, Michael Keane came in against Palace and was the left centre-back, so Mina went to the right centre-back. And then on Sunday, Mina was the right centre-back and Holgate was the left centre-back.
They're obviously comfortable. I don't think that's a major... I don't know.
I just don't understand why we keep...
What I mean is, though, if you look at that goal again, right... If Mina is right next to Holgate and can see Sidibe going forward, then he should be going across, because he's not marking anyone. So even though it looks glaringly obvious that's Sidibe's fault, Mina is massively contributing there, because if he shuffles over one, which he should be, because there's no reason for him to be...
He should be an arc, though.
I know. But what I mean is, though, that's what I was just about to say. Not only is he too high, because he's practically where Sidibe is. So not only is he too high, he's not across enough, because there's nobody else there. There's nobody else. Because if he goes across, then Holgate can come across, Baines can come across, and Sigurdsson can drop in. That's what you were always told. You shift left and right depending on where you need to go. And I know it happens very fast, but the professional footballers, this is what they should be able to see. So if Mina's across there, Mina would sort that out. If he's... Number one, Mina should be literally where me and you are now. Holgate and Mina should be together. They should never be apart.
Well, Naketa wasn't like trying to play on the shoulder anyway. If you look at it, there should be an arc though. Mina should be 2 yards behind Sidibe, and Holgate should be 2 yards behind Baines, because your centre backs control the centre of the pitch. That's where the danger is. The problem is, you're right, there's a gap there that maybe Mina should take another step over, and then therefore he can intercept. But if he's not going to do that, talk to Sidibe and pull him back. Get goal side, get touch tight to him. If he's touch tight to Aubameyang, the minute Aubameyang sets off, he can go with him. If he doesn't, he tries to almost pinch the ball. It's past him, and then the chase is on. And it's something he does, and it's something we see quite a lot with him. This is not just something that happened in the game. You go, that's a mistake. It is actually something he tries to do quite a lot. You watch how many times he nicks the ball high up the pitch. Well, he had 10 ball recoveries at the weekend.
Yeah,
which is the most.
That's what he's brilliant
of any Everton player. But that's because probably 4 of them he's done the same. He's nicked in front and pinched it.
That's what he's really, really good at. But at times he's going to have to learn to drop back, and that's where they've got to look at that and go. I imagine this week.
Do you think they'll buy him?
I think if we get Europe, I think we get Europe, he'd be perfect, right? I really do.
But what about the Premier League?
But I do think he's good enough. But this is the problem is, though, can we get better? And if we can get better, do you buy him? And then where does that leave Seamus Coleman?
But if you were brands and you're looking, like you just said, 13 million quid, the flip of that is, right, can we get better for 20 million who's 21 or 22?
That's the problem.
Right?
For him.
you know what I mean? So you're looking and going, well, is John Joe Kenny good enough? If they don't think he is,
I don't think he is.
And Schalke want to pay 15 million quid, then that's great for FFP, by the way, because he's come through the ranks, so therefore that's 15 million profit straight in your P&L, as they call it. You can then go and get, I don't know, say it was Max Aarons, because he's a young right back who's played in the Premier League this season, looks decent. I don't know whether he's good enough, but he looks decent. He looked good at Goodison. You buy him for 25 million because Norwich are relegated. Spread the cost over 5 years. There's 5 million a year for Max Aarons, and you've got 15 in for John Joe. So straight away, you've replaced the right back with a young, a version who's the same. He's gone in. Sidibe, no. We've got a young one learning the game. We've got Seamus Coleman, who's older, who's experienced. Yeah. But Max Aarons can get up and down and do the delivery. I'm just using him because.
No, but what I was just going to say there was, if you do that, Max Aarons has to become your number one right back.
Yeah, but he would be anyway. No, because you're buying a Premier League.
No,
right
I know,
back,
but that's what I'm saying. That's what you're saying, aren't you? Saying he's our 21 and he's our number one.
Listen, Hakimi's loans up at Dortmund. I'm not saying Everton could get him, but his loans up at Dortmund this summer. Dortmund might just look and go, that's all right, we'll have this other kid who we've got who's 18, because that's their model, isn't it? Real Madrid might go, well,
I'm going to say, isn't he more likely to become Real Madrid's
right back? Well, I don't know because they mix and match, don't they? It depends what they want. But if they didn't, if they didn't and he was available for 30, he'd be one who you'd go, he's 100%, he's our starting right back without a shadow. There's other ones. There's Joachim Miles who the Piv loves. He's another one who you could probably get for 20 million, who is probably good enough to go in and start. So it's whether they've identified that, whether they believe John Joe is good enough, I'm unsure, but I don't know. He's had a really good season, but I've seen him in games. I watched the Bundesliga and I've seen him a few times where he's had good games, and then other times, like the Bayern Munich thing, where he's gone to sleep and it's a goal, and you're like, he's still doing things he was doing 2 years ago.
I don't think he gets up and down the pitch enough for me.
He does.
Which is weird, because when we were watching for under-23s, his big thing was going on the outside.
But then what's he being told?
No, he's far more defensive at there.
He's a bit. Was it you talking to? Or might have been John, actually. He's a bit in between. He's a bit like, he's defensively better than Coleman, but he's not as offensively better than Sidibe. So he's somewhere in the middle of the two.
I don't think he's got the stature.
And maybe that's the thing.
I don't think he's got the stature.
Well, it's when you look at... See, this is the thing that I like about Sidibe. He's a unit. Athlete. You look at him, he's up and down, he's tall, great balls. And that's what football is now, isn't it? So it is a real tough one with Sidibe. And like you say, maybe if you buy... we get to the summer and Gabaman is fit and can get about the pitch, and we get, we've been heavily linked with Ibrahim Sangare over the last couple of days, who gets around the pitch. He's a monster unit of a midfield player, and you've got those lads who will go and tuck in for Sidibe when he's going, or we've got the protection in front, which means Mina doesn't have to step as high. Then maybe that negates almost how much of an issue Sidibe is.
Let me just ask you this then, do you think we've got enough pace at centre-back? Because I look at that goal and I'm just thinking to myself, if we had a chicken catcher.
Look where he...
I know.
No, but look where we are when he finishes.
Oh, we're so high.
But when he actually hits the ball, Mina's a yard away. He's caught him. The problem is it's the cross. It's the crossover. You're coming out as I'm going in.
No.
You've got to spin and then chase me, but I'm running the right way. And that's the key again, is let's not be naive. And this is something I think Ancelotti will do. Now, he might look and go, our lads are quick. They're not lightning, but they're quick enough. But can we get enough? And listen, there's dreams can come true.
They can.
And they, I believe they're quite fast, those dreams, and can spin quickly.
There's a centre-back out there in France, and let's be honest, no one's got there's a patch.
He's not a patch on anyone else yet. But he is quick. So
we have been linked to Gabriel.
We have, and Gabriel is quick, and he's young, and he's a Brazilian, and the Richarlison thing comes into it, and all of that, getting him in there, he would solve that issue. But the beauty of that is, and this is what I wanted to come on to, because the midfield is really a key area for me, is that you've got Holgate then, and you've got Holgate who can then play in two positions. He can then go, he can play in three. He can be a right back if you need him to be as an emergency. He can go and do his job.
You've got to nail down.
He can play in midfield and he can play centre back. But for me, you'd have You see, if it was me, if I was with Branson and I've got in the ideal world, right, they would be the three, you know, the patch, the eye patch, Holgate and Mina, and then Lewis Gibson, who they were 30 seconds from having the sixth straight win last night. Sunderland equalised.
97th
minute. So Gibson,
but it was max power.
It was.
I mean,
if you're going to concede a goal, concede it to maximum power.
That's the one, innit?
You know, what a goal, what a name. But you'd have them three, and I'd be looking to shit Michael Keane out, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then, therefore, you've got those three who are quick and mobile and strong, and you've got Lewis Gibson then who's coming in and trying to learn his trade as well. And then what that does is it gives you that mobility, and it gives you the option of playing the three of them.
I was just going to say, what are the chances of playing three?
Well, you've got two lads at fullback, at wing back, who are perfect wing backs. So if you want to play a 3-5-2 for argument's sake, you're still keeping your two centre forwards on the pitch, which is vital. Yeah, you're getting your two lads in wide areas. You've got Sidderby is a wing back. He's not a right back really. And then you can make that midfield up with, if you had, for argument's sake, Sangari, Gomes and Gabaman in midfield, so 3 units, 2 lads up front, 2 wing, and then you've got the options off the bench are, you know, Bernard, Iwobi, you know, people like that who can come on and add that little bit of spring. You can then almost take out Gomes and put Iwobi in there, or take Gabaman off and then you've got someone central, or Bernard. So it's giving you that options, but even in a 4-4-2, you're giving yourself those options for midfield as well. If you could have them and then chase a couple of our midfielders, then that makes the whole the physique of the squad and the strength of the squad much better.
He's got let's be honest, he's got the rest of the season, I imagine, to prove his worth. The option is there.
It's 11 games to go.
He's probably going to go to the Euros with France, I imagine, as the backup right back.
He linked with Juventus last week, wasn't he? And
just wonder whether that's just the agent.
Listen, possibly, but he's an attacking fullback, isn't he? And like you said before, fullbacks nowadays are there any real? You know, I watched someone who is a fullback at the weekend, Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, great defensively, across the halfway line. Tony Ibbett-esque. So they're getting less and less though. Great at doing what his job essentially is, but in a world where at home your fullbacks have a lot of the ball, they've got to be able to. He'll
be one that if we don't sign him, he'll go somewhere and we'll be like kicking ourselves because he'll look amazing. Because I just think in certain teams he will look brilliant because they'll have the structure to deal with it. They'll either have someone in centre midfield or whatever.
But it's like you said before, they might be looking and going, well, we know that when we've got Sangari, for argument's sake, or Gabriel or whoever, or Gabaman back, he becomes even better than what he is now. So for 13 million quid, 27, great age, we'll have him. Might keep, like you said, might leave John Joe on loan for another 12 months and see if he progresses. Or they may sell him at a buyback or something like that. So it's going to be dead interesting, because I think with the 4-4-2, I think it's very easy to identify where the weak spots are. And I think having Ancelotti, he'll look and go, well, that play, for me, it's right back, right wing and centre midfield are the absolute burning positions. And then a centre back. That's how I would look at it.
Good stuff. We'll have to we'll wait and see. Obviously, as we mentioned, his performances will go a long way to deciding whether he is an Everton player next season. Coming up in the final part, we'll be discussing Sunday's visit of Manchester United to Goodison Park. Don't go away. Welcome back to part 3 of the Toffee TV podcast. As we mentioned earlier, it is 4 years this week, which I'm sure of Machedi coming in as the owner. I'm sure we could have done a podcast on its own on that, but
might do a video.
As we're always talking about it, every day, it's hard to sort of pull it all together, and because we're always consistently in it, but it does seem to be going the right way at the moment, doesn't it? It's funny that when things start to suddenly fall into place, how it all seems to be going in the right way.
Yeah, I mean, he come in and I think we were all giddy. We had money, and we were, you know, this was going to happen and that was going to happen, and it was all false dawns, wasn't it? But sometimes those false dawns are teaching you ways how to be successful, even when you're not successful. You're learning different things. I think he's got the manager he wanted. Apparently, he tried to get him a couple of years ago, and it wasn't the right time. He's got the director of football he wanted from day one in place, whether people agree with Brands or not, or like Brands or not. Watch the documentary if you haven't, because it was excellent on him. And so when you look at that, he's put those two things in place with, you know, you've got your structure, your football structure with Brands, you've got a world-class manager at the helm, we've got an application in for planning for the stadium, his mates making big noises behind him. So straight away, if you look at it, just take a quick look at it, things do look like we're improving, and we're finally rolling in the right direction.
Yeah, well, it all seems to be. It all seems to be in the right place, and I think actually, without sitting here having, you know, going over it again and again, because, you know, I think in the summer could be the time where you start to see the actual shape of things, because you know, whether it'd be great if we got Europe in whatever form, because then you start planning for that and you're going in the right direction. You've got the manager for that. You're buying players based on that as well. And that'll be the next big thing, won't it? You know, it's all talk at the moment, but seeing who the targets are and who we actually bring in.
Yeah.
You know, whether we get confirmation of the stadium in the summer as well. Even things like the shirt sponsor and things like that. You know, what the levels they're looking at, the what investment they can bring in to it, and so I think the summer's actually going to be a bigger indication of where we're going, because obviously there's a lot of things in place already. You know, listen, been in the live buildings now for coming up to a year, haven't we? So over a year. Sorry, it's over a year now, isn't it? We've been in live buildings for over a year. There's been changes to Finch Farm. The women's team have got their own little stadium now as well, which is fantastic. All the plans are out there for our stadium and what's going to happen with Goodison Park. And as I said, with Carlo Ancelotti in place, with the opportunity for new players in the summer, Marcel Brands might be the summer that the academy we actually see some real changes happening in the academy as well, and the under-23 setup. So I think this summer actually will tell us so much more about what shape we're in, rather than just sitting here right now just because it's the 4th anniversary. We know we're going in the right way, because we've got someone like Carlo Ancelotti as the manager, and we've got a looking for planning permission for a new stadium. And when you look at the document for the new stadium, it's incredible. Yeah, it's I mean, I know it has to be that detailed, but it's incredible that when you look at it and you think, that's us. Yeah. That's where you know. That's where we're going. That's real tangible evidence that people have sat down, and you've got the best people. You've got the best architects. You've got the best people to look at all, you know, environmental studies and historical stuff and all that. It's all in the planning permission. You can see that yourself. So it's not something that's just been cobbled together. It's something that really shows that we're serious. And as I said, the summer will give us more on that. Yeah,
it's the whole project is fantastic for Bramley Dock, isn't it? And we keep every image that we see makes you a little bit more excited. You know, we've been talking about this. We've been talking about it for a few years now, and obviously the first time we went through meeting at the live buildings was for a stadium update, and we hadn't seen any plans, and it sounded exciting, but you kind of were going, oh right, and then obviously last August, I think it was, or July, we got to see the plans. July, it was fantastic. Absolutely July the 25th or something, wasn't it, or 24th? It was absolutely fantastic to see that stadium, you know, there. And then we've seen it's been altered even since then. We've seen updated the final plans, things, you know, the final plans, and we've seen that the application go in, and there's a capacity there now that was never said. It was
52,888.
Yeah, so you've got that, and I've said many times, I still believe it will be more than that anyway. And for people going, why do you think that? Well, Spurs' original application was for 56,000, I think, or 54,000, and it went up to 60. So that's all exciting. We've seen the stuff coming out last week with Manchester United with the rail seating, and you know, we're planning to put that in. So again, that could push that up, and that makes that more exciting. So everything is on the right path. If we can get, I mean, imagine a summer where we're in Europe, we get planning permission for the stadium. you know, and we've got Marcel Brands and Ancelotti at the helm, and we've got a nice new kit made by whoever. And we've got a new sponsor on and stuff like that. People will start going, oh yeah, you know, and then a couple of good signings that complement the team, and you can see the structure of the team. People will begin to take us a little bit more seriously. And listen, forget the media. I've seen a thing again with the media. The media is irrelevant almost. We've just got to believe in what we're doing as a fan base and back that, because this fella has come in and he's put his money where his mouth is. He's set us on a path of trying to get a new stadium. He's got us a world-class man. The thing with Moshiri is he's made mistakes, and people go, oh, he's this, he's that. He's made mistakes, but he's always tried to rectify his mistakes. So he got Koeman, and he sacked him when we were under pressure. He got Allardyce because he felt like we needed to just ensure that we were stable. He sacked him because we didn't like him. He got rid of him when he needed to and paid him. He liked Marco Silva and he stuck to his guns there. He got him. But then when it wasn't working, he sacked him. Even though the director of football didn't want him sacked at that time. No. So he's got, you know, he sees what he wants, and he's trying his best to do, you know, to affect his decisions. You know, and I think that needs to be.
I think the most important thing for me going forward is if he feels like he's got all the right people in the right positions now at the club, he maybe can take a step back from.
I think he wants to,
from not having to get his hands dirty. I know we feel like at times we're not always being 100% sure who's been doing what, but that comes down to, if you're not, and listen, if you get to anywhere you've in any role, it's because you take control of a situation. But if you feel like there's people in the roles that you're confident in, so you don't have to be there, and I feel like that's maybe where we are now. You know, and
that'll be his ideal scenario.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying.
He wants to sit back,
but that
and just
takes
watch
time,
his team
and that's
go.
what I'm saying about Brands. I don't think people criticise Brands, and for some of the signings you can go, well, let's see how it plays out. Others you go, not so sure. But like saying like things like the academy, those things don't happen overnight. And people say, should Brands be on the board? Well, maybe you have to give someone the ultimate power so that they can make changes. Otherwise, there'll be reluctance within the club and be like, well, no, I'm not changing for you. I've got this role and you've got that role, and actually we're very, very similar. Whereas you go, well, no, I'm a director, mate. I want this all changed. Then things happen a lot quicker. So, it's had its ups and downs, but we seem to be moving in the right direction. Regrettably, we spent a lot of money that's been completely wasted, and now we are sort of suffering the little backlash of that. But
then Man City did similar, didn't they?
Did.
Teams do spend money, and you know, there's a team not too far away that have spent a hell of a lot of money to get it right, and they've got it. They have got it right this year. So it plays out.
Sometimes it has to go wrong a little bit for you to understand how to get it right.
How to get it right, yeah. So you learn more from the mistakes than you do from the successes.
Anyway, Sunday, Manchester United, another big game. They've just hit a little bit of form, and it's a tough game, isn't it? Because not only is it a tough game, but it's one of those games where you're looking and going, we've got to get something from this. You know, we've got to try and get. You know, if we can get 3 points in this, it's another one of those pivotal games, where same as like the Arsenal game. Yeah,
definitely. They were on a good bit of form when we played them last time, when we went to Old Trafford. You know, they just beat Spurs at home. They were on a good run. You know, they were fifth in the league. Things were going well, and we went to Old Trafford. And that day, we had 7 players out. You know, and Duncan somehow managed to get a performance out of our lads. And realistically, when you look back, we probably should have won. We conceded the goal with 19 minutes left, you know, but they hadn't nearly done, you know. No. We'd got through that far in the game where you're looking and thinking, last 20, can we close it out? We couldn't, which was fine. We got a draw. But, you know, maybe United come to Goodison last season and they were on a good run. And Lukaku was, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, you know. And that day we got the lead and we never let them settle. And we beat them 4-0. And I looked for this Sunday, and like I said to you, I said to you off camera as well, I watched United for the opening half an hour in their game against Watford, and I turned it off because it was awful. They were terrible. You know, but not the problem, but the thing is they've got some good players. They've got Martial, who's a match winner. They've got Bruno Fernandes, who's just come in, who looks neat and tidy, you know. I haven't seen enough of him yet, but he looks neat and tidy. Dan James is quick, so he'll always be a threat. You know, they've got Mason Greenwood, who's really good.
Good finisher.
So, you know, we have got to be wary. But they haven't got Rashford, who can be a real threat to us. Pogba's not there, for whatever reason.
So busy applauding Liverpool.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. The thing is, at home, a chance for us to get rid of the result Sunday, bounce back. Crowd will be up for it because it's Man United, which is always a good thing. And it's a great opportunity there. What are they, 41 points, I think? So if we beat them, it's 2 points. We've pulled, 3 points back on them. It'll pull us closer to everybody else. So why not? Why not go out, get stuck into them from the word go like we did last season? And with the two lads we've got up front, we're a massive threat. Maguire, I've said it all along, he's an average defender. Lindelof is up and down. So our two strikers can give those two a right good going over. Walcott's going to be back, it looks like. He's up against the young lad Williams, who's not bad. And then obviously, the one reason I will play Bernard Sunday is because he's got the ability to drag Wan-Bissaka inside, which means that Luca Dina, who should return, will have a little bit of space to go on the outside. And I think it's all about Bernard engaging Wan-Bissaka. And I seen him, I know when we played them down at Palace for the first half, Wan-Bissaka had him in his pocket when he was there, but the second half, Bernard used his brain a bit more and dragged him around the pitch a little bit. And if he can do that,
well, listen, he's a really good defensive fullback, but it's not only that. It's not only just about one player. It's if you get Bernard and you get Richarlison on that side as well, and you're changing it up a little bit and moving them around, and obviously you attack from different areas of the pitch. I think main thing is we don't allow any space behind. Man United love counter-attacking and getting into that space behind them with Martial, and certainly with Rashford. Obviously he's not available. They can really, really hurt you. With Fernandes, they've got someone I think who can open defences up. It's something that they didn't really have. They didn't really have that creativity in midfield. We'll have Gomes back. It'll be his first start.
Who would you put with him?
I'd put Delph with him.
Would you?
Yeah, because I just think he's a little bit more mobile. I think if Tom was in any kind of form, Tom Davies, then I might think about him, because I think he's mobile. I think the important thing is someone's mobile next to him, because I don't think, seeing at the moment, that Gomes is gonna push on. Like when we played with West Ham, wasn't it, where we had Gomes and Tom Davies, and they were a good partnership that day. And
they had the Wobie ahead of them.
And Gomes just sat in almost in that quarterback role, very much like he did when he come on against Arsenal. And I think what that needs is it needs someone else who can get round. And I think Delph can get round. He'll buzz round.
Yeah, he's more mobile.
And
it's United, and he's been at City, so it gives him that little bit of needle.
I mean, you might go, Schneidlin, but I don't know. It depends what the tactics are, isn't it? Schneidlin, yes, could sit behind Gomes and give you a two midfield, and that might allow you to have, Bernard and Sidibe getting forward, and obviously the two up front. It gives you that extra insurance, and he's a big lad as well, and he's done well home recently as well. So I wouldn't necessarily say that wouldn't happen. But I always thought that when Gbamin wasn't playing, I always thought it was Delph and Gomes who were the two. But obviously with Ancelotti, you don't know, because we haven't had them. So it'll be interesting to see. But he gives us. I mean, he'll just be. The fact that he'll be starting a game at Goodison Park will be huge for him and huge for the crowd, and it puts a little bit of extra emphasis on the game. And of course, we want to get back to winning ways. We want to prove to people that we are a decent team. We want to get up the table. We're sitting in the bottom half of the table at the moment, which looks sort of it looks weird because of the run we've been on. It doesn't feel right that we're below teams like Burnley. But that just shows you in what bad a state we were in when we started that run.
Of course,
that all it takes is
one defeat and you're down
back
again.
In the bottom half of the table
well,
again.
Listen, we've got a chance to bounce back. We go to Chelsea next week, which is a tough game, and then we've got Liverpool. We've got a tough run of fixtures, but your home games are where Everton have done very well against these big sides over the last few years. So why not do it again? Get out, mix it up. United don't worry me. Honestly, they don't scare me. They've got good players in certain positions, but Everton have got good players, and it's about us. Arsenal got the rub of the green Sunday and got the 3 points in a tight game. You know, it's our turn this Sunday to make sure that we're the team that's coming off the pitch with the victory. You know, above all else, win the game, and then we go into that Chelsea game with the new confidence, knowing that we've pulled the 2 points back on United, so we're right in the mix there then, and you know, it's up to us then to kick on from there. But 11 games to go, probably need 6 wins, I would suggest, for Europe.
So we've got to win these games.
So this is a game
we've got to win these games.
Because we've got tough away games.
Yeah,
tough away games.
Yeah, it is a tough run. It is a tough run. It's more than just the 4 games. We've got Leicester home, we've got Tottenham away. Norwich away where we don't generally do too well, apart from winning the league there. But so we've got, and this is where you show what you're made of, or players show what, you know, in terms of finishing the season, showing Carlo Ancelotti.
They might be Manchester United.
I know,
but I'm straight to you, but I just mean they might be Manchester United, but they're not.
The way I look,
brilliant.
But Arsenal weren't brilliant. The way I look at it, these are rivals.
Yeah.
If we want a spot in Europe, we've got to take it off these teams.
Definitely.
We've got to take it off of Man United. We've got to take it off of Tottenham. We've got to take it off of Wolves.
Yeah.
Obviously, we play Wolves away as well. So we've got to take it off these teams. The only way we're going to take it off them is by beating them. Because if they beat us, then it's a 6-pointer, isn't it? You know, you can't. You know, and then you are just trudging into the end of the season, and at the moment, the door's still open. You know, we don't know what the Man City situation's going to be still. You know, they've gone to court of arbitration. So we still don't know where that is. So the chance is still there. And we've got good players. We're showing fight. What we've got to do is get rid of all those stupid lapses of defensive lapses, but also start showing a little bit more. I don't know how I don't even know how you quantify it. Just showing that little bit something that the good teams have to win games.
Bit of arrogance, bit of belief in yourself that you can win it and go for the jugular and go, we're having this. This is us today, and that's what we need to do Sunday. And if we do, we'll win the game.
Yeah. There you go. Podcast done.
It's good.
It's always good. If you want to see a video version of this podcast, get over to our Patreon. That's where it is. The match preview will be on YouTube as well for the Manchester United game. All our videos over on YouTube as well. So if you want to check them out, please do. And also give this podcast a little review on whatever you're listening to, on iTunes or whatever. Tell everyone that you like it. If you like it, there you go. Thanks for listening. See you later.